Welcome, everybody. Is this on? Yes, I just need to get close. Welcome, welcome. People are still trickling in, but we're going to stand up. We're going to start with a worship song. So we're going to sing Prince of Peace, also known as You Are Holy. So get on your feet, and it's a call and repeat. So if it's one that you've never sung before, you're in luck, because all you have to do is repeat after Katie. We're excited to have you here tonight. We like to start with our worship and prayers, which we do in our regular large group, just because it's been a busy day, I'm sure, for all of us. And so it's a good chance to center and calm ourselves and get into the right mindset. So let's sing and worship together. So another thing that we do each and every Wednesday is have a time of prayer. There's a lot of things going on in our lives that we often don't take a chance to stop and center and intentionally pray for. So at this point, if you see a confirmation guide around, you can grab a prayer card in the seat as well, but there are little green, Lori's walking around here. There are green little prayer cards. So confirmation youth, I would like you to all write one. And parents, you are invited to do this as well if you would like. As you're handing them out, could you give the kids an additional one? Because they're going to need one for the presentation as well. So make sure, confirmation youth, you have at least 2 note cards for tonight. And so we'll take a moment to take a couple deep breaths. And Katie's going to play some music. However you feel comfortable in this time praying, we will start with just some quiet time for you to write your prayers, and the youth know to bring them up. Parents, you can send them with your kids. Bring your prayers forward, and then we'll pray for them. We'll say, Lord, in your mercy, and repeat with, hear our prayer. Best. Some people like to pray with their hands open. We know that God hears us however we pray. So again, we'll pray a few petitions and then say, Lord, in your mercy, and you will repeat together as a congregation, hear our prayer. Creator God, spring is a time that we really get to see the incredible things that you have done between the bugs that are coming out, the flowers that are popping up, the beautiful, warm, sunny days. Been a little cool lately, but we know the sun's coming and that warmth. So as we anticipate summer, and yet we have a little bit of school left, we pray that you help us to have some focus and do well in all the things that we have going on in this busy month of May. We lift up these prayers tonight as we hold people close to our hearts. We know that you hear us. God, I pray for all those impacted by recent layoffs. May they find a better opportunity ahead. I pray for my friends and family. I pray for everyone to be healthy and happy. I pray everyone can find God in each day and trust in God's plan even if the path isn't clear. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer.
I pray for good grades and I hope my soccer season goes well. I pray for everyone to have a good rest of their week. Dear God, please pray for my teammate to get better and do well at state. I pray for people who are faced with difficult decisions. Lord, in your mercy.
I I pray that everyone has a good end of the school year. I pray for those who suffer from mental illness. I pray for the weather. I pray that I would be still enough to hear God speak to me this week. I pray for healing and comfort for Ellen. I pray I do good in you. Lord, in your mercy. Hear our prayer.
God, I pray that I do good in my game. Pray that I do well in my game on Saturday. I pray that I play well in my baseball game. I pray for an open mind and softened hearts to the Lord's word and message. I pray that my track meet goes well and my grades stay good. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer.
I pray for everyone's faith to grow stronger. I pray for my family and friends to all stay healthy. I pray for great track meet Thursday and Friday. I pray I can get my grades up. I hope I win one game in the baseball tournament this weekend. Lord, in your mercy.
Hear our prayer. I pray for good luck on upcoming tests. I pray for good grades and lacrosse. I pray for my family that they might be safe. I pray for good grades. I pray the infection in my uncle's foot goes away and he would be healed. I pray that I get a good grade on my test tomorrow. Lord, in your mercy.
God, I pray that my tournament goes well. I pray for everyone struggling with injuries that they can heal and get better. I pray, Lord, for anybody struggling with health, especially those on cancer journeys, especially Christy, Lauren, Ordell, Erica, Norm, Sherry, anybody else that we name in our heart at this time that might be going through a difficult time with their health or with whether it's physical or mental health. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer.
I pray for the summer and that everyone stays happy and healthy. I pray for my grades to stay good. Lord, in your mercy.
Pray for God to give me patience as I continue working on my mental health and knowing my work on it will pay off. Lord God, we thank you for all of these things, knowing that as we give them to you, we can have your peace and confidence. Lord God, be with us as we hear today about friendship and forgiveness. Open our ears and our hearts that we might learn to love people as you do and draw them close to us. And all God's people said, amen.
Okay, a couple announcements. Who is the mystery? Oh, there it is. We found it. Katie's got it. So are Avery and Emery here? They were going to give the Penny Wars totals, but I will do it in their place. So we counted all the money from our Penny Wars. The total for all the money raised for our youth scholarships is $555.15. A lot of fives. So $555, which is huge for all the various things, whether it's retreats, camps this summer, mission trips. So that is going to really help out. So our points, 7th grade, you had over 20,000. 9th grade was really close to 20,000, and 8th grade was really close to 10. So our 7th grade was the winning team with 22,175. So can we congratulate our 7th graders? So that means next Wednesday you get to have pizza for free. You got a pizza party next week when you come, so that'll be a part of the next week is our final Wednesday. So it's kind of a last chance for small groups, and we'll tie some quilts for our graduates, and the 7th graders get their pizza party. We'll still have slice beforehand, but if you are a 7th grader, you don't need to sign up. I'll take you off the slice list. You'll get pizza later. And then any 8th and 9th graders, if you want to come for pizza beforehand, you can. So our Twin Cities mission trip, which is that June 28th, 29th through July 1st, that one, the deadline is today. So tonight by midnight, I'll take a look at things. Our numbers are still really low. We have 4 youth and 1 adult, so we want at least 6. So talk to friends. I know with the overlap of 9th grade with 43 going on our San Diego trip, I know that probably impacted the Twin Cities trip, but it was kind of a trial this year to allow 9th to go on either trip. But we're not going to, if we end up not doing the full trip, we are going to have something in its place. It just will be modified, right? So we'll keep you posted on that, but talk to each other, and if you still are thinking about signing up, let me know, okay? So like I said, next Wednesday is the last Wednesday night for confirmation finale. And then, could you flip to the next one, Katie? This is our Rainforest Falls VBS. I know Sabrina, well, she's eating. Do you want to say anything about it? She's going to run up here. She's been working on doing the weaving project all afternoon, so she's going to be looking for volunteers. It is July 12th through the 15th. So here we go.
Exactly, with pizza in my teeth. Okay. So, yes, VBS for all the little ones. You are not little, but you can be such a wonderful impact on those little ones by helping out. It would be your little service project. I need volunteers to help lead groups, to help go with the groups to their lunch break, to help sign in their little kids, to help get the little kids back to their parents. All of these tasks. We will have a sign-up that will go online next week, and then you can see what is all there and check what you are comfortable with. Some kids are comfortable with leading little kids in games, others like art projects, and others are like, I'll just watch them while they eat. So whatever you would like, there's something for you. Come and check it out. That would be great. I would love your help.
And it's a great way to get some of your confirmation service hours if you're looking for it. So, okay, so now we are on to our why we're all here tonight, friendship and forgiveness. This was a topic that kept coming up among families as one that they were hoping, just like technology does. I think 2 of the biggest things that our teens continually navigate is technology, which we did in the fall, and navigating friendships. So tonight we are talking about friendships and forgiveness, and we're excited to have 2 speakers with us this evening. I get the pleasure of introducing Natalia first, and so the next screen, it shares a little bit about Natalia's background. She has written a popular book called Uplift that it started out as a cancer prayer group. So Natalia is an ELCA pastor in the Twin Cities, has a different role now, and I'll tell you about in a second, but Uplift was the first book that she wrote, which came out of a cancer support group kind of at your first congregation, and turned into this wonderful little book that is truly what the title is. It is an uplifting way to help people on a very difficult journey, right? I mean, if you yourself or someone you love has ever gone through cancer, you know that there are a lot of really, really bad days, and you need some days to uplift. So that is the first little book. That's on the left. Cafeteria Christian is the podcast that she is co-host in, and if you want to check that out, it's really cool. It has the tagline of take what you like and leave the rest. It's like that cafeteria style where sometimes there's some things in Christianity that we struggle with, and we need to figure out what we resonate with and what things we maybe need to say, yeah, I'm not quite ready to think about that right now. I'm going to put that over here. Or so that's a challenging and just an incredible podcast about growing as a Christian in your faith and thinking about difficult things. And then coming out soon is a new book called It All Counts. So we're excited. You can actually find that. You can pre-register for that, but it's not available yet. So let's bring Natalia up, and she is going to start us off tonight as we think about what it means to be a friend. And she is also, let me say, yeah, let's welcome her. I said everything about your professional life and nothing about your personal.
We are friends.
So, we have known each other for over a decade, and she'll probably talk a little bit. 2 decades?
Oh my God, don't say it, but it's true. I did the math today.
Okay, so a long time. We are old enough for that. She and her husband Sam live in South Minneapolis, would you consider,
Yep.
and have a 16-year-old and some fur babies. So you'll probably hear a little bit about them as well. Yes. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Okay, I'm going to move me forward a little because like good Lutherans, you all sat really far away from the front row. So I'm going to move myself closer. As Kirsten said, we've known each other for a really long time. I'm honored to be here. It's so fun to see friends in their element when you don't always get to see your friends working. You just see your friends out in the world or dancing or whatever we all do together. So I'm thrilled to be here and honored to be invited. It All Counts doesn't come out till July, so you saw that. If you would like to pre-order it, my publisher would be super excited that I said that out loud. As Kirsten said, I'm a pastor in the ELC. I've been a pastor in the Minneapolis Area Synod for 10 years. I was a youth director for 10 years before that, so I've been working in the Synod for 20 years. And I recently started a new job as the creative director. It's all right. For the creative director at Church Anew, which is a parachurch organization out of St. Andrew in Eden Prairie. So I've been just doing that since February, so I'm pretty new. Still learning what it means to have Sundays and Wednesdays free. I haven't had those free for 20 years. That's been quite lovely. I went to Florida over Holy Week. It was awesome. Highly recommend it. And Mother's Day, I plan on not getting out of my bed for the first time on Mother's Day in 20 years, which is also going to be awesome. I was like, can you actually bring me breakfast in bed on Mother's Day? I've never had that before. I'm so excited. So I'm here to talk about the first half of this. We'll talk a little bit about forgiveness. You'll hear that a little bit later, but tonight I'm going to start about friendship. I'm no expert on friendship, but I am a friend, and so I feel like that is where we can all start. So I want to begin with a question, and you have a card, so I want you to turn to your neighbor or your caregiver or whoever you came here with and just answer this question: what makes a good friend? Now I want you to, yes, of course, characteristics are great, but I also want you to think about how you feel when you are with a good friend. So how, when you're with a good friend, you feel. So I want you to take some notes on your little note card. On one side of your note card, write, what makes a good friend? Talk. Yeah, I'll repeat it. Great. Okay, now, I believe in consent in all things, including challenge by choice and sharing. So if you don't want to share, you don't have to. But if anybody would like to share a quality or two that they wrote down or they talked about, that would be great. Anyone want to share one? You can just shout it out. You can shout it out. We're not going to make Kirsten run. Unless you want to make Kirsten run, and then... Makes you feel comfortable. Nice. Caring. Nice. Trustworthy. Sorry, you're so far back there, but thank you. Trustworthy, that's a good one. What makes a good friend? Having each other's back. Nice. Good listener. Being kind. You're crushing it. Being caring. Did anybody say fun? Good friends. You want to have fun with your friends, right? How many of you have a friend that makes you laugh harder than any other friend? How many have that one friend? Like, yep, you know. You already know who it is. If somebody said a characteristic that you didn't have on your note card and you want to add it, you sure can. And we're going to just keep talking. But I want to tell a little scripture story about a good friend. And it might not be one that you're thinking of. If you were to do a search for wedding scripture verses, one of the first ones that pops up is from Ruth. And it goes like this. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. And your God will be my God. It's from the first chapter of Ruth. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that so nice? But it was never meant to be a wedding verse. And I'm sorry if any of you had this at your wedding. It's lovely, and I've used it at lots of weddings, and I never judge anybody for using it at a wedding. But it is not a wedding verse. It is a verse spoken in friendship. So Ruth speaks this to her mother-in-law, Naomi. These two ladies had been through some stuff. Naomi's husband died, and not long after, both of her sons died. One of those sons was Ruth's husband. It is a lot for anyone to lose children, spouse, all the things. So Naomi was not okay. She was so upset that she told the people around her to call her not Naomi, call me Mara. It means bitter. My life is bad. That's what she said. Very relatable, honestly. If you've ever gone through something, I get it. Naomi looked at the reality of no support in her home. Remember, the system of that time was that if you didn't have a spouse, a husband, or a son to take care of you, you had no way to get income. So she looked at a future of poverty and hardship, and she told her daughters, go back to your home, go back to your family. They will be able to take care of you. I cannot. It wasn't a big selfless ask. Sometimes we think like, oh, Naomi was so selfish. She wasn't. She was mad. She was angry. She was thinking about survival. And so one of the daughters did as she was told, and the other daughter, Ruth, gave an impassioned speech to Naomi. Don't push me away. I am with you no matter what, she said. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Naomi and Ruth essentially take like a best friend pledge in that moment. They bind themselves to each other. It's why we use this verse in weddings, because it is a promise verse to each other. And that loyalty to each other sees them through to a new life and a new love for Ruth and a new future beyond what they could have imagined. Ruth eventually gets married again. But it was not her new husband who saved these women. It was their friendship and their deep belonging to each other, their promise to be with each other no matter what. That's what saved them. And I think if we're really honest about it, this is the kind of friendship we're all looking for. And our society and the internet and all these things are giving you lots of shortcuts to quick, fast relationships. And that is not actually what our soul is longing for. A quick text is not the same as sitting down with coffee, though I love a text, let me tell you. You want someone who stays with us when everything falls apart. But I'm not sure we always know how to get those kinds of friends. I think most of the time friendship starts with proximity, right? Like the people you're around with the most. You live close to each other. Maybe you're in a sport together. Maybe your parents are friends with your friends' parents, and that's how you become friends. Or maybe you have lots of classes together, or maybe you've grown up together, or whatever it looks like. Maybe you've been in the same class for your entire life, pre-K all the way to now. Sometimes it's just you're together a lot. And sometimes there's some kind of magic that happens when two people who have no practical or logical reason for being friends just click, and that's it. How many have a friend like that? Like you shouldn't be friends on paper, but somehow like really works. Yeah, there's people nodding, there's hands. I love how two of you looked at each other. Love that. True friendship, I would say, real belonging, which is what we're longing for, is more than people being in the same place at the same time. It can start there, and it does, but real friendship means more. To get to a good friend list, like the things you named, takes a little bit more. And I think one of those things is time. A long time ago, before many of you were born, because now you know Kirsten and I have been friends for 20 years, I was invited to a monthly meeting of people who were doing the same job in different places. It was a work-based peer group, essentially. We're all a bunch of youth directors hanging out. And after a little while, a few of us started out of that group a second little group, and we called it a book club, but as any of you know, if you've ever been in a book club, it ended up being about more than just the books we were reading, right? We discovered that we kind of liked each other, and we started adding extra hangouts. We went on long weekends and vacations. We got closer together. We retreated together. We thought, best book club ever. We kept on posting online. A few people left the group. A few others joined it. We got married. We went to each other's weddings. We had babies. 2 of our kids have had cancer. 1 of us died. 1 of us had a baby last week. I say us like it's my baby, but it's not. 1 of us had a baby last week. We have an active and regular text chain. We know when someone has a health scare, when someone's interviewing for a new job. When I was in the running for bishop 2 years ago, and they all made t-shirts that said Natalia for bishop, which is not allowed, by the way. Campaigning is not allowed in that process. But they did it anyway. We know when someone's kid is sick or a pet dies. We have celebrated with and for each other. We have been with each other through the worst moments imaginable. Oh, see, I get so sad because Kirsten's sitting right here. We're criers. We have genuinely done life and loss and all of this together. For 20 years, this group. We want the best for each other. As friends go, we are not competitive or jealous or petty. We just love each other. And it didn't just happen. We made it happen. We talked about who we wanted to be for each other and with each other, and we did it. We chose to weave ourselves and our lives, the fullness of who we are, all of the parts of us, not just the one little part that we see sometimes, but all of who we are together. And that is, there's a picture of us at Megan's wedding. There, that's our crew, aren't we? Listen, we look amazing. This is our crew. We call ourselves the Wolf Pack. And I want you to all know that we called ourselves the Wolf Pack before Abby Wambach wrote a book about it. But we did it first. That's us. And if that group isn't awesome enough, I also have an entirely different, incredible group of women. There's 5 of us if you include me. We call ourselves the Old-Fashioned Ladies. Yes, for 2 reasons. We started getting together right before the start of the pandemic, and then we were forced, because of the pandemic, to the Marco Polo app. And yes, I know, I'm an elder millennial. It's super cringe. We still use it. I don't care, all right? Cringe is freedom. So we get together in person when we can. But we didn't always. For a bunch of years, I mean, we met one time, all 5 of us together before the pandemic, just once. And then Marco Polo and that group chat got us together, got us through it. We didn't imagine we could grow that close on an app. It's an app, you know, like who cares? But it saved us during that time. We checked in daily, sometimes more than once, even now, well after when we can get together many times. We have one of us lives in Burnsville, almost Burnsville, and the other one lives in Ramsey. So we are as far away from you can be in the Twin Cities as almost possible. So we don't get to see each other that much, but we're on our app all the time, checking in. We say details of each other's lives, struggles, joys, rants, raves. Sometimes we just need a safe place to say a hard thing out loud. Sometimes we just need to say, my husband was really annoying today and I need to tell you guys why. And that's good enough. Sometimes we created this group when belonging was at a minimum. We just didn't have time together and we had all this time. So we found some kind of magic in knowing and being known so well on a daily level. Together, both of these groups in my life have lived out that cry of Ruth to Naomi. You are my person. Your people will be my people. Your family is my family. Your friends are my friend. Your story is my story. Your work is my work. Your life is my life. Your God is my God. I feel very lucky that I have friends that are all in on each other every day. And I think, honestly, we've saved each other every day. So I want you to look back at that piece of paper where you wrote your qualities of your friends. Would you take anything off of it? Add anything now that we've talked a little bit about Ruth and Naomi? Think. I know it's hard to be a friend, and I know it's really hard to find good friends. Sometimes circumstances change, and people change, and friendships change. In the story of Ruth and Naomi, you might remember that at the beginning, Naomi has 2 daughters-in-law, and Ruth stayed and the other one did not. She left. She decided that she needed something else. And you know what? In this story, that's it. No one got mad at her. No one told her she was a bad person. She isn't made to be the villain of the story. She got a choice, and she chose to leave. Sometimes we need to leave friendships, and that is super hard. In our group, we've had people leave the group and step away because it wasn't good for them or it wasn't good for us. That happens. I had a friend group in middle school where I told them, if my parents knew what you wanted to do every day, I would be grounded for life, and it's just not worth it for me. I like my freedom too much to be grounded for life, and I chose a different group of friends in 8th grade. It was so messy and so hard, and I'm grateful that I did it. My 16-year-old daughter's like, tell me how you did that. That sounds impossible. And I'm like, it was so hard. But I knew in my core they were not good friends. They were friends, but they were not good friends. They were not good for me. I was not good for them. You have a choice. In friendship, you are allowed to move on and to grow apart and to celebrate what has been, what kind of friendship you had, what kind of life you've had so far, and it doesn't have to be the way it's always been. This happens again. It'll happen again. I did it in middle school, but you have to do it again when you leave high school and whatever happens after high school, whether it's college or work. Every time you take a new step and you take a new job and you move houses or neighborhoods, you say goodbye to some friendships and you say hello to new ones. It is just a part of the cycle, and it is still hard. So you have that list of friendships, and now you know you can have people on your list, and you can take people off of your list. That's fine. But I want you to take your note card that you have the one list on one side of all your qualities of a good friend. And I want you to think about on the other side and write down a list of names. If there are people around you don't want to, you can just write initials if that makes you feel safer. That's fine. But I want you to write down a list of the friends that you think are Naomi and Ruth type friends. Like, they're going to stay with you in all the things friends. And it might be a smaller list than any list you'd write about, like, here are all my friends. That's not the same as here are my, like, we got each other. These are my we've got each other friends. Who are those people? And if you're not sure if you have them, that is fun work to try, to cultivate and think about what it looks like to create friends like that. I don't want you to just say the names. Think about it. Make a list. Ones that are good for you and good to you. The ones that make you feel the most like you. The ones who know the real you. Write their names down. Doesn't need to be a big list, but a true list. Got them? Some nods. Okay, one last thing to think about as I go sit down and the next person comes up to talk about forgiveness. I just want you to have a thing to take with you to think about as you leave. Maybe a car conversation, maybe something you think about later. But I think we need more good, like Naomi, Ruth, good kind of friends in this world. More people who see each other just as we are, not as they wish we were, and committing to being with each other in it. So I wonder if you'd think about how you can be that kind of friend, what being that kind of friend would look like for you. And two, how you might be a person that surrounds yourself with those kinds of friends. So those are your two, think about them later. You don't have to answer them right now, questions. But parents or happy people who are here with these students, this is a good question to wonder about, and to maybe share your own friend stories as well. Because I bet you broke up with some friends in your day, and that might be an interesting story. Cause any drama? That would be an interesting story. You should share these. They are helpful, I promise. So I want you to think, again, how you can be a good friend and how you can be a person who surrounds himself with those good friends. Thanks.
So take a minute to turn to who you came with and ask them if they have a friend drama story while we do a little transition here. Go. Like, did you ever have to break up with a friend for any reason?
I never know when that buzz is you're still talking about the question or that buzz is we've moved on to other things. So if most of us have talking about the time we've had to break up with people, let's introduce our second speaker. Eric Raisler is a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of Minnesota. He specializes in diagnosing and clinical treatment of anger, aggression, domestic violence, perpetration, and antisocial personality disorder. He is also a passionate clinical supervisor and has trained multiple marriage and family therapists and clinical counselors. His second passion is of a professional musician. He served as an organist for Evangelical Lutheran Church in Cokato since 2017, where he'd get to church about an hour and a half early. He'd discuss with the pastor everything philosophical, theological, and therapy-related, making sure the pastor did not get a chance to practice his sermon like he should have, which was wonderful for many, many years. I served with him. He was my organist for many years there, and it was wonderful. He still lives in central Minnesota with his wife and lovely daughter. So, Eric, please come on up. Please greet him.
Good evening, everyone. Name's Eric Raisler. Thank you for inviting me to speak on this complicated topic. There are a lot of benefits of forgiveness and a lot of strong emotions that this topic can bring up for individuals. I will be talking about a variety of mental health concepts and forgiveness, as well as spirituality. I recognize that this topic can be triggering with some of the things that I'm talking about. If you find that to be happening, be kind to yourself. Feel free to step out if you need to take a moment. There is no judgment in doing that, in taking care of ourselves. So I chose forgiveness and community in the fact that our community provides an opportunity for social support and connection, peer support, and even a mutual cultural identity that can treat the harm that is caused and harm that causes hurt. These shared experiences give an opportunity to build trust and further shared validation in these experiences. For kind of the parents and adults, guardians in the room, if any of you do, like for your careers, need a continuing ed certificate, stop me afterwards. I'm willing to do our CEU for this, just with my professional license and the fact that we have a Q&A and stuff going on. I feel comfortable with honoring an hour for your time. Okay. We're going to start with a grounding activity. I know that we started the gathering with a prayer and a grounding activity. I think with just honoring the topic, it's good to have a centered mind when we go into this. So I would like for you to find yourself in a comfortable seated position and close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or you can put your eyes focused on the floor and allow yourself to settle in. Continue to take some deep breaths. Imagine yourself inhaling calm, cleansing air and exhaling tension. In with calm, out with tension. As you continue to do this, I would like for you to scan your body for any tension that you may be carrying tonight. Common places we may feel this are in your jaw, your shoulders, your stomach. As you continue to breathe, allow yourself to gently soften this tension. As you continue to breathe in deeply, I would like for you to gently recall either a person or a situation that you may be struggling to forgive. This may even include yourself. as you bring awareness to this, I would like for you to continue to notice where you may now feel tension in your body as you think about this struggle. Allow yourself to breathe into that spot without judgment, just simply observing any feelings that you may have. This may include pain, anger, or resentment. I'd like for you to visualize a gentle, warming, calming light of compassion surrounding and filling your body. Imagine this warm, calming light to fill up your body like a balloon, taking away anger, pain, and resentment. It is inside of this balloon. And as you breathe out, continue to feel the weight of this balloon and allow it to float away. Allow for it to disappear out of your view and into the sky. Continuing with your breathing and awareness to that, repeat in your own mind this phrase: I can choose to let go of this pain. I can release this burden. I can choose to let go of this pain. I can release this burden. I can choose to let go of this pain. I can release this burden. Now I'd like for you to draw awareness to your right hand. Place your right hand over your heart and silently affirm to yourself, I am safe. I am making a space for healing. I can forgive. I am safe. I am making a space for healing. I can forgive. I am safe. I am making a space for healing. I can forgive. Now bringing awareness back into your body, I'd like for you to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes and continue to bring this sense of lightness back with you for the rest of the day. So I like to define anything that we're going to talk about so that we have a mutual understanding. Forgiveness, in terms of the way that I'm going to talk about tonight, is that it is internal work. It is internal work of releasing resentment, anger, bitterness, and perhaps even vengeance towards someone who has caused harm. This concept of forgiveness has been well researched by a number of universities, but Dr. Bob Enright out of UW-Madison has spent over 30 years talking and discussing and researching forgiveness and the impact on our mental health. His research has found that forgiveness reduces chronic stress, it reduces anxiety, it reduces depression, causes better emotional regulation, as well as increased self-esteem. And then on the flip side, Johns Hopkins University has found that actually carrying long-term resentment has been associated with increased depression, increased heart disease, and increased risks of diabetes. It's amazing how just an internal process can have such an impact on our physical health. The other thing that I like to highlight is that forgiveness is a process. It is not a singular event. It is not a one and done. It is not a poof magical event. it is often a process that takes revisiting, rehashing, discussion. But forgiveness also is, in terms of how we think about it in the Bible, is that according to Matthew, Peter thought of offering forgiveness 7 times to frankly be generous. Jesus, if you recall, challenged Peter to forgive 77, either to be 77 or 490 times, depending on your biblical interpretation. Essentially with the interpretation that it should be infinite. Like, I wouldn't challenge you to just stop at 77 times that I forgive someone that harmed me. Strive for that infinite. Just like a flowing river of abundance. We see that also referenced in a different way in regards to justice in Amos chapter 5. We speak of justice with Amos. Let justice roll down like water and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. So depending on how you think of forgiveness and justice, they're definitely very related to each other in terms of that piece of accountability and acknowledgement of what has happened, and frankly, community healing. Forgiveness is definitely not a should. And that might challenge some people because we think of in parenting that you should forgive your brother. You should forgive your sister. You should forgive your dad for being hard on you. You should forgive your mom for working that 3rd job. Should. But it's not that simple. It's not a moral superiority to forgive. It's definitely not saying that it didn't matter and just trying to forget about it. And it's definitely, and this is another really important factor that's often mistaught in schools and families, homes, and even churches, is that forgiveness is not reunion, reconciliation, or trust. We can forgive without trust. We can forgive without reconnection. Another thing that I like to kind of highlight in regards to parenting is this idea of forcing the apology. I think growing up, one of the most common things that I would be told when I did something wrong from either of my parents were, well, say you're sorry. Eric, it's time for you to say sorry. You've had enough time. You need to apologize. What that teaches is compliance. It doesn't teach true apology. It teaches that we can say something that can make someone feel better, but it doesn't teach that distinct behavior change. So, while trying to break that generational trauma, what I am trying to teach my daughter is that it is important to say you're sorry, but what does that look like? What does that mean? What are we changing in our actions and our behaviors to actually show that we are sorry and seeking forgiveness and acceptance and apology from somebody? Forgiveness is really difficult in a lot of circumstances when we think of how harmful certain experiences can be. We're naturally hardwired to notice negative. That's part of our biology. If I were to, paint this entire church a different color and did a marvelous job painting it, but got a little bit of paint on the stained glass window, a number of people would notice that. They would not notice the fact that I painted the rest of the space perfectly, but they would notice that I got paint on the stained glass window. We're naturally wired to notice the negativity. That's why we see so many parenting interventions, positive psychology about focusing on the positivity, focus on the happiness, focus on gratitude, focus on all these positive things. Those are very important things to do, but it goes against our natural tendency. We are hardwired to see negativity. And there's good reason for that. Noticing the negativity actually keeps us safe, keeps us from blowing through a stop sign and smacking a car. It makes us follow the law most of the time. It allows for us to recognize that we probably shouldn't play with a king cobra. When you think about in history, someone had to be the first person to milk a cow. Someone also had to be the first person to play with a snake. And we know different things about that. Our evolution of negative experiences make us better people, arguably, at the very least to survive. And that leads into kind of each generation of people are arguably becoming more anxious because anxiety keeps us alive. It's a protective factor. And this relates to forgiveness in the notion that it's hard to forgive. Again, anxiety really impacts a ton of people. 19% of Americans, arguably, that's about 40 million people in this year, will meet criteria for a generalized anxiety disorder. 5%, or 13 million Americans, will meet criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder. And 70% of Americans, throughout their entire lifespan, will experience at least one life-threatening experience in their lifetime. We are wired to notice the negativity because, again, the frequency that we experience negative things keeps us alive when we can avoid it. We learn our lesson, we avoid it. And unfortunately, this really biologically driven process plays into then our relationships. Very common belief system that I hear is, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That very much conflicts with the idea of forgiveness, especially when we go back to Matthew. The other reason that forgiveness is very difficult is that harm is often caused by people, situations, communities that we are very close with, that we perhaps admire, that we respect, that we frequent. When I think about families, there can be exposure to frequent criticism. There can be frequent shaming, perhaps even emotional gaslighting. Like, you're making a big deal about something that's not that big of a deal. It can also be emotional neglect, physical abuse, and sexual, psychological abuse. This increases the risks of repetitive chronic experiences when we have exposure frequently to different types of harms. I bring kind of a question for the group. How might our families, schools, work, and maybe even our churches contribute towards chronic harm? Mm-hmm.
So I'll take a stab at it, right? A lot of times what works for other people might not work for us. And so those systems, thinking it works either for the majority or for the people they have seen, continue to function in a way that is dysfunctional or causes us to be dysfunctional.
Yeah, we see that certainly in, well, it worked for me when I was a kid. My parents did that, and I turned out okay. So yeah, that's very, very, very common. Any other examples that come to mind? Yeah.
I was the straight
Mm-hmm.
and my sisters dealt with it differently, shall we say.
Yep.
So, being a teacher, a former teacher, I paid attention to the quiet ones too. Because,
Absolutely.
sometimes you look at well, I think it's human nature. You might have an idea about somebody and you have no idea what that person has gone through. And sometimes the quiet, low followers are certainly, just as much as the ones that might be
Yeah.
acting up. So there's a lot of times being not noticed or
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, and how even within siblings, the same traumatic experience can impact so differently. We see that especially like in larger age spans in family households, different experiences of oldest sibling versus youngest sibling, how a parental divorce might impact that family system very differently. Pivotal ages are really important to consider within that. Recognizing the heaviness of that question, I can certainly say in my life experiences of both being members and working in a variety of different churches, not to say that every single church that I have gone to has been guilty of this, but I have definitely observed all of the following in at least one church in my experiences throughout my lifetime, including shame about someone's divorce, shaming about sexual orientation differences, gender identity, complete overt and covert racism, gossip, maybe singling out those same 2 or 3 people that are just yes people. They'll commit yes to doing anything. They're the ones that will get coffee ready in the morning and will help clean up the church for 3 hours after worship is done, causing that burnout. You also might witness toxic positivity in the church, regardless of how bad things are going. Things are great. That toxic positivity sets a really unrealistic standard and makes people feel like that they can't share. Also, financial exploitation, pressuring people to give more, to donate more. And that can be controversial when we think of the reality that churches do need financial giving, but when it comes to from the perspective of exploitation or targeting specific people because they should be giving more. Those are just a handful of things that I've thought of. And again, that kind of brings us back to community as a source of harm, but also community as a source of compassion, forgiveness, and connection. So forgiveness within our community, we must allow the truth and the reality that harm exists. I realize that is kind of a heavy topic to talk about, at 7+ in the evening, close to 7:30. But we cannot move forward in forgiveness to things that are unnamed. We have to name a harm or the specifics of the harm in order to move into forgiveness. We can't solve a problem until it's named. We also need to practice being comfortable with the discomfort. We have to be comfortable with the complex feelings of anger, grief, and maybe even betrayal. We also have to be comfortable with how others express their discomfort. Part of healing within the community is also allowing for opportunities for that accountability, but without pressure. That can look like asking someone where they're at. Where are you at? If you know that someone is struggling with forgiving somebody else, bringing up that awkward conversation of like, hey, where are you at with that? Has that been something that you've been thinking about lately? I've been praying on that for you, and just imagining wanting to check in with how you're doing with that. As well as creating opportunities for repair. Again, without that pressure to reunify or reconnect. I have to highlight being comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where real growth happens. That's where forgiveness happens. We also have to be comfortable with not every situation can be restored or be repaired. That's uncomfortable, especially when we think of social pressures, the old mentality that we think of, you must forgive. The mentality of, well, he's your brother. You need to forgive what he's done. You're only going to have one mother. You're only going to have one father. Just some examples of things that we may have been told. What can I control? I can only control my own actions. To simply not further hurt someone when I become aware of how I've hurt them. I have the choice that I can make to not continue to hurt and harm someone. I also can only control my own accountability in how I can work towards forgiveness. I can only control in how I seek God's guidance and His grace and His mercy. I also cannot demand someone to forgive me. I also need to focus on my own process of forgiving. Being kind to myself if I'm not ready. Not shaming myself if I can't go there yet. Not pressuring myself to move on and to forgive.